guys, my first ever yearly palette ranking, 43 palettes. Let's do it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I am Kimmie. This is my attic and I am so excited to be doing this video. This is my first ever yearly palette ranking. I didn't do this video last year. I did kind of like a best and worst video of the eyeshadows that I had tried that year, but I just didn't keep well enough track of the eyeshadows that I tried that year to do an actual ranking, but I'm so excited to finally be doing it. So I am ranking 43 eyeshadow palettes, which I'm kind of surprised at. I thought it would be less. I felt like I didn't buy as much as I bought last year, but I don't know, guys. Here I am with 43 palettes. Let me tell you, I've been watching palette rankings for a long time. Past 5 or 6 years, maybe a little less than that. Let's say 4 years. Let's say 4 years I've been watching palette rankings, and people always say the same thing. They say, it's so hard to do this. And I'm always like sitting home, you know, we're sitting home watching and we're like, oh, come on, how hard is it to rank the palettes that you tried? But let me tell you something. When I actually had to sit down and do it, it's absolutely right. It's a lot harder than you think it is to rank the palettes you tried. The beginning is really easy. You know your favorites. You know the ones you like the least, but it's like in the middle where it kind of falls apart. I took notes. I did it. I redid it. I'm pretty confident with my list. We'll see if we switch anything as we go. But yeah, I tried 43 palettes this year. And I just want to make it really clear. Not all of these palettes were released this year. These are just the 43 palettes that I tried this year. So some of them are older releases, but you know what? So what? This is what I tried, so I'm putting them against each other. The best to the worst. Whether they're old or they're new, it's the first year that I have been trying them. So let me tell you really quick how I rank a palette, like what I look for. Obviously, the formula. I think we all look for that. The color story, the packaging. But also, to me, I do take in the price point. I do take the price point into consideration because, let's face it, you expect more from a palette that you spend a lot of money on than you do a palette you didn't spend that much money on. So if a palette is less expensive, I'm willing to give it more of the benefit of the doubt than I am willing to give a palette that I spent a lot of money on. So price is not a factor. Price is a factor. My allergy is not a factor, guys. Not at all. So for those of you that watch my channel, you know that I have a nickel allergy, and a lot of palettes I do have reactions to. But I have an allergy to iron oxides. It is what it is, and that has nothing to do with the quality of the palette, so I don't take that into consideration. Most of these palettes I have videos on. Some of them I don't. Some of them I did not try on camera, did not use on camera. But I'll let you know as we go along. So here we go. 43 to 1, a year in palettes. Also, guys, this is, of course, my opinion. We all have different opinions. I certainly never mean to offend anybody with a palette. And with that said, let's do it. Here we go. Number 43. All right, guys. So here we go. Number 43. This palette is dead last. This is the Too Faced Better Than Chocolate palette. I do have a full review on this palette. Look, there were a few reasons that I put this here, okay? And the color story was nice. The color story was nice. Packaging was beautiful. This is the tin packaging. I had a lot of high hopes for this palette. I thought this palette could be amazing because Too Faced is known for their chocolate tin palettes, and they hadn't done one in a really long time. So when they did this one, I thought, wow, that's a great idea. This palette is going to be so good. I was so excited, and let me tell you, I was so disappointed. There's nothing really wrong with the color story, except there's really no deep, like true deep, rich, chocolatey shades, and all the shades look almost exactly the same. They look almost exactly the same, and these two shades that kind of pop out at you, like these blue and purple shimmers, are absolutely terrible. The formula in this is horrible. Shimmers are horrible, mattes are patchy, and it's just a brown palette and I love a brown palette. I'm a neutral girl. I love a good neutral palette, but this isn't a good neutral palette. All the shades look almost exactly the same, and this one falls dead last. I hated this palette. Huge disappointment from Too Faced. In at number 42 was another disappointment, and normally I don't rank, like, if there was a collection, I do not rank palette. I don't rank the palettes together. I'll try to separate them, but in this case, you actually had to buy the palettes together. This is the e.l.f. Dunkin' collection. So these 3 little palettes, they came in one box. So you had to purchase them together. You didn't have a choice. The only reason that I switched these around, originally I was going to rank these at the bottom. I was going to rank these at number 43. But I ended up switching them around because of the price point. Because like I said, this palette is over $50, okay? This was insane. This was horrible. This was like robbery. This one, these palettes are significantly cheaper. I don't remember how much they were, but it's e.l.f., so they're significantly cheaper. So I put these at number 42, but these are also terrible, with, I believe, Boston Cream being the absolute worst. The collection was really cute. Thought the collection, the packaging, and everything like that was really cute. I thought that e.l.f. could have done a lot with this release. And people, I think, were expecting the formula on these to be kind of like the bite-sized palettes that they did a few years ago, which were amazing, but it's not. The formula on this is completely different, and they're terrible. This one was chocolate frosted with sprinkles. This is what it looked like. Awful. Although, like I said, Boston Cream was the worst. Probably the best of the 3 was this one. Strawberry frosted with sprinkles, but they were all terrible. They were all terrible. Number 42. In at number 41 were these Milani palettes. Yes, I'm breaking my rule again. Like I said, I don't like to rank palettes of the collection together because sometimes one is better than the other. But to be honest with you, I don't even remember, like, differentiating them. They were both horrible. I hate Milani's eyeshadow formula. Milani is one of my favorite drugstore brands. By the way, this is Most Wanted, and this is, oh, excuse me. These are the Most Wanted palettes. This is Rosy Revenge, and this is Outlaw Olive. So, yeah, this was like a gold, grungy kind of green tone palette. I love the color stories. And this was just a rosy, neutral palette. They were hard. They were not good. Really not good. I don't like Milani's eyeshadow formula. Once upon a time, Milani had an amazing eyeshadow formula, but those days are just gone. Those days are just gone. Don't like those palettes. Don't like the gilded palettes. Just don't like them. Next up, number 40, ColourPop. This is the first ColourPop palette on the list, but not bad. By the way, I did, not the last one. Not the last one. I don't know why I said not bad. By the way, guys, I did a ColourPop ranking of all the ColourPop palettes that I own. It was the second time I did it. I'll post my whole ranking playlist down below. But yeah, I also did a whole video on this. This is the color story. This is what it looked like. I thought it was a beautiful color story, and to be honest with you, I usually like when Too Faced does these like cardboard palettes. This was an Ulta exclusive. I don't know if it's me. Is it my imagination, or when ColourPop does an Ulta exclusive, it's not as good as ColourPop's normal formula. I don't know if it's in my imagination or if other people have felt this way, but I absolutely hated this palette. I remember during the video when I was like, oh, it's not bad, but it's not good. And then the more I used it, there's just more. I just didn't like it. It has some like duochromes and some like nice shades like this one, but when you actually wear them, they're not that nice. The formula just isn't that good. I don't really have anything good to say about this palette. That's why I ranked it so low. And then at number 39 is another one that I absolutely did not like, also from ColourPop. All Amethyst. Now, ColourPop makes a comeback later on. They do. But they had some poor releases this year, in my opinion. This one was an early release for ColourPop. This might have been the first drop of 2022 for ColourPop. I have another one from this collection. Now, if you open it up and look at the color story, it looks absolutely beautiful, but again, there's something off with the formula. And what's interesting is I was watching Angelina Nyquist. I don't know if I say her name right. You all know who she is. She's a very, very popular YouTuber. she was doing her ranking. What the hell did she rank? I think she ranked over 100. Her and Morgan Taylor, they ranked over 100 palettes. I was going to give you a spoiler alert, but I won't. Anyway, she also, Angelica also ranked this palette significantly low. And she said that she saw other people's on YouTube that swatched out really nice and worked really nice, and she was convinced that there was 2 like separate formulas. I don't know. If that is true, I got a bad one, because this formula was terrible. Very difficult to work with, very hard press, couldn't pick up hardly anything on the brush, just not good. Not good quality at all. Not the ColourPop quality that we're used to. Just not a good palette. And then at number 38, I put the Too Faced You Drive Me Glazy palette. This was their holiday release this year. Also did a video on this one. Look, it's not terrible. Here's the thing. The Too Faced holiday palettes, they always kind of look like this, and they're never very good. So it almost, and if I'm saying that out loud, why the heck did I buy it? Why did I spend money on it? I don't know, man. It's like a tradition that I always get this palette, but this might have been, and last year I bought it, and it was actually really good. It was, Christmas in London. I think it was Christmas in London. I think that's what it was called, but it was definitely something with London. And the packaging was beautiful. Color story is always neutral with these palettes. Always looks something like this, but the formula on the palette last year was actually very good and pretty good. Not very good, but pretty good for these palettes. And the blushes were amazing. My mom took that palette from me. She loved it. She still uses it. This one wasn't as good. So here it lies at number 38. Number 37. ColourPop again. ColourPop again, Secret Admirer palette. This was their Valentine's release this year. ColourPop, to me, as far as Valentine's releases, they've never topped All That. Do you guys remember the All That palette? I was allergic to it, but oh, nice. Okay. So this is kind of interesting. I'm just going to toss this. I don't know where this went. When I first purchased this palette, I did Valentine's Day, I did a, what's it called? I did a whole week of Valentine's Day videos, and this was one of the palettes that I purchased, and when I opened it up on camera, it was broken. So I did contact ColourPop. I wasn't the only one. Some of you also reached out to me and said that you had gotten broken palettes. A couple of years ago, I had a lot of problem with ColourPop palettes. Really bad. So many palettes that I purchased were broken or broke like on arrival, and this one broke as soon as I opened. Actually, it came broke and I opened it on camera. It was everywhere. I reached out to ColourPop. They were very, very nice. They did send me a new palette, and I just opened it up and I didn't even realize this, and I don't even know where the pan is because I didn't even realize it, but this one's also broken. Again, the shade In the Mood is gone. So maybe they were just poor quality palettes. I don't know. I didn't care for this formula. I thought the layout was cute. Mine's a mess now because that shade broke. I don't even know where it went. I have no idea when this happened or where this went. No idea. Even when I used it, I didn't care for it. It's just not, I didn't think it was cute. The layout was cute, like with the hearts, and the packaging is kind of cute, but for me, this was a no. This was just I did not think it was very good. I just didn't think it was very good. So no ColourPop. No. Okay, number 36. Oh, here's a funny one for you guys. Here's a funny one. Number 36, Too Faced, making another appearance on the lower end. This is the Teddy Bear palette. This one is not a new release. This one came out last year or maybe even the year before. I don't remember, but here's the story with this one. I'll tell you real quick. If you saw my Declutter 1 year later video, you know the story with this one. I decluttered this video last New Year's. I decluttered this palette last New Year's. I had never used it. I had bought it. I couldn't wait to buy it. Oh my God. When this palette came out, I couldn't wait to buy it because I thought it was so smart. Teddy Bear. And it's a neutral palette, and it has a little teddy bear on the packaging. You open it up, and it looks like this really beautiful neutral palette. I love neutral palettes. I bought it. Couldn't wait to get it. Never used it. Never used it. And that year, I saw a lot of people rank this pretty high on their palette rankings, and I was kind of impressed. And I was like, well, I never used it. I'm probably never going to. I'll just declutter it. When I went to put it on Mercari, I gave it another look, and I was like, do I really want to declutter this palette? And out of the over 100, I believe it was 105 palettes that I decluttered last year, this was the one I decided to keep. Yeah, this was the one I couldn't bring myself to declutter. I love neutral palettes. Took it out to use it, and yeah, I should have went with my first instinct. I don't like this formula. I don't like the small pan sizes. I don't like this formula. I really just don't like this kind of Too Faced palettes. There's another one that they did that's kind of low on the list, which we'll get to, but yeah, I didn't like it. Should have decluttered it in the first place. Okay, so at 35, it's the ColourPop Quartz palette. Of Quartz. This also came out with the Amethyst palette. It was the same collection. They were released very early in the year. This might have been the first video I did in January of 2022, was trying both of these ColourPop palettes. I thought this one was a little better than the Amethyst. This one is a color story that I gravitate to. I love neutrals. I love cool tones. And just looking at it, I think it's stunning. But again, the formula is dry, off, hard pressed. It's just not good. It's better than Amethyst, but not good for ColourPop. So there it is. That was number 35. And then at number 34, we have the Too Faced La Femme palette. Again, I don't think this was released this year, but I tried it for the first time this year. Was it released this year? It was released at a weird time. I think it was released. I know it was released in the dead of winter, but I can't remember if it was this year or last year, because I remember thinking, why the hell didn't they release this in the spring? Like, this screams spring to me. The packaging screams spring. The color story screams spring. Even the smell. It smells like floral, like really strong florals. Screams spring. But it was released in the winter. I know that. I just don't remember what winter. So I don't have a whole video on this. I actually used it when I did my Puppy Blues video. We were talking about the Puppy Blues, and we were trying Too Faced. I thought it was okay, but just okay. And yeah, it's just okay. It's better than the palettes that I talked about so far. I think it is better than the Teddy Bear palette, but I just don't like these kind of Too Faced palettes. So yeah, Too Faced is ranking pretty low on my ranking anyway. So these were probably the worst palettes I tried this year. Now as we move into 34 to like 25, we're starting the middle ground. So let's do that. We're heading into the middle of the road. I needed a cocktail first. Does not influence my decision. All right, guys, so going forward, none of the palettes are bad, in my opinion. None of the palettes are bad. I don't know, for whatever reason, they are just ranking on the lower half. The palettes I talked about earlier, the ones on the very bottom are bad. And they got a little bit less, but honestly, I don't think they were very good. These, they're not terrible. I just, for whatever reason, didn't gravitate towards them. So at number 33, yes, 33, we have the Kylie Jenner Valentine's Day palette. Is it just called Kylie? I don't know. I guess it's just the Valentine's Day palette. So I tried this one again over Valentine's Day week last year. Here's what it looks like. It's really, really cute. Palette packaging was really nice. I thought the packaging was really, really cute. All the hearts, the heart shaped pans. I thought that was a nice touch. And I actually really liked the oranges. I'm not an orange coral type of girl, but I thought the oranges on this palette, this one, and I think, yeah, those three. By the Fire. By the Fire. I remember saying that. I think I really liked this shade, and Forever and Ever and He's Mine. I thought they were really, really nice. It was okay, you know. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. I would take it definitely over the ColourPop Secret Admirer palette. I thought the quality was pretty good. I thought it was a big improvement from her Halloween release last year, which was the Freddy Krueger palette. Oh, I did not like that palette at all. So I wasn't totally disappointed in this palette. It just kind of lies here in the middle. And then at number 32 was the Glamlight Hershey Kiss palette in purple. I didn't buy the entire collection. There was a few kisses. I have a hard time with this packaging, like getting it open. Thing fell out of it. Okay, so this is what the purple one looked like. I mean, the packaging is so cute. Glamlight always does like this really, really cute kind of packaging, kind of like foodsy things. They're like known for that. They're the ones who did like the tacos, the pizza, right? All that kind of stuff. They did the happy hour palettes. They were beautiful. And then they did these Hershey Kiss palettes, and they were okay. I think the quality was all right, but I don't know. Just, I don't know. And guys, if you're wondering, if you're like really like swatching palettes, the reason I'm not swatching a lot of these is because a lot of these I know I'm going to declutter, and usually when I declutter I sell stuff, and if I know I'm going to sell it or I know I'm going to give it away, I don't want to swatch it anymore because it's like I don't want to make it, you know, if I know I'm going to give it away or sell it, I don't want to swatch it because it's like, you know, it's going to be someone else's fairly soon. And but some of them I will swatch for you. But yeah, I just wasn't crazy about this one. It's pretty, it's not bad, it's just, I don't know. It wasn't as good as I thought it was gonna be, and I don't know. The packaging is cute. It's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know, man. 30, what was that? 32. Okay, at 31, this is another older palette, and I think a lot of people freaking hate this palette. And I know why, but this is the Tarte Salt Life palette. Tarte had like an insane sale. When was it? It was like mid-year. I think it was like mid-year, and I ended up buying a whole bunch of Tarte stuff. I don't know. Like, it was like a really, really good sale, and I don't know, like I said, I ended up buying some Tarte stuff, and this was something that I purchased, and I actually kind of wanted this palette when it first came out, and then I forgot about it. I don't know how old this is. I think this is at least 1 or 2 years. It might be more than that. I don't remember. I remember really wanting it and then just forgetting about it. And then when they had this huge Tarte sale, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get it. So I'm not going to say too much about this because I know it's not a popular one. But if you like wash of color, like if you're not into pigments, you like neutral wash of color, you might like this. I think the formula is fine. Actually, I think the formula is kind of nice. And I like neutral wash of color palettes. So, and that one you might be able to get on crazy sale. I don't think it's a bad palette. Okay, at number 30, this is kind of interesting. So this is the Paris BH Cosmetics. This is one of their travel palettes. This was, talking about Angelique Nikis, this was her #1 palette last year. She put this as #1. It's beautiful, and like she said, the quality for the price was amazing. It really is. It's kind of like a purpley, like, it's like a purple neutral. You have like these pinks, like burgundies down here. So I reviewed this palette. Did I review this palette or did I just do Instagram? I don't remember, but I remember doing a video where I talked about how BH Cosmetics had gotten sold. At that time, I don't think I knew it was getting sold. I think we just thought it was going under. I used to love BH Cosmetics. They were one of my favorite brands, and I just think it's such a shame. I heard that Makeup Revolution took them over. Is that true? That's what I heard. I don't know, but whatever. They came out with a couple of things this year. They came out with like some quads and I think a neutral palette, but nothing compared to what they used to do. And it's such a shame. Like I said, they used to be like one of my favorite brands. And yeah, I don't know what happened to them. Anyway, this is from their travel series. I think it's a really, really, really beautiful palette. They used to do such great, amazing quality for the price. The only reason I ranked it here is because this really isn't my color story. I'm just not comfortable with these kind of dark purples and blues, but I thought the palette itself was very good quality. At number 29, I have another one of my favorite brands. This is Nabla. This is the Cutie palette, and I actually did not, well, I did purchase it, but I got it in a mystery box. So, and it was kind of funny because when I got this was like the one palette I really wanted. They did a bunch of these little palettes from Nabla. I think they were called the Cutie palettes, and this was platinum. And this is like a color story I like. I like a palette that looks like this cool toned, neutral 6-pan, really, really easy. This is right up my alley. I think the quality on this is quite good. I think you see these on sale also quite often, and if they're still available, I think they're still available. And I know if they are, they'll be on, when they were available, they had these on sale quite often. So, yeah, I think this one is really cute. I like it. This lies at number 29. Number 28. This is a palette probably no one's even ever heard of. I know did I hear of it? I'm not sure, but this is another Tarte one. This is the Dream On palette. Again, I got it at the Tarte sale, and like I said, I'm ranking all the palettes that I tried this year, whether they were popular or not popular, if anybody's heard of them or not. People always declutter these palettes. I don't even know. Tarte has a bunch of these that have like this shape. I know that Rainforest of the Sea palettes all looked like this, and that's a much older collection. This smells a little bit like Too Faced, like when the Too Faced palettes smell. Everything is kind of named after fairies, like Myth, Magic, Wings. I think this came out last fall. Why do I remember writing about this on my blog? I think this came out not this fall, but the year before. I think the quality is good. I like this. I haven't used it very much, but yeah, it's a neutral palette. It has a blush in the middle. I think it's good, and it's pretty. Packaging is nice. Why not? It is. It is what it is. Okay. At number 27, I have the Neutral Hershey Kiss palette. Here it is. So yeah, I got the purple one and I got this one. That was the dark chocolate, by the way. I don't know if I said that. And then this was the milk chocolate. This palette I actually really liked. So like I said, you guys know how much I like neutrals. And I like cool tone neutrals. One thing I will say, I don't know why I had such a hard time opening these up. Like, I really did. That the packaging is really cute, but I had a really hard time, like, getting them open. I don't know, that might just be me. But yeah, so that's what it looked like. I thought this was really, really, really cute. And yeah, the shimmers are beautiful. Like, I love shimmers, and they were phenomenal. I thought they were really, really gorgeous. And yeah, I like a neutral palette. This one I really liked. This middle color, this like kind of shimmer, I thought it was a little bit unique for a neutral palette. So maybe not unique, but just so beautiful. So beautiful. And I like easy palettes. So I actually really, really, really enjoyed that one. Then at number 26, this is the Bridgerton palette by Pat McGrath. A lot of people hated this palette. I did a review on this palette also during Valentine's Day week because I felt it was a romantic palette. I don't watch Bridgerton, but it is obviously based on the Netflix series. Packaging was gorgeous. This is what it looked like inside, and quick story, which is kind of funny. I made a total ass of myself because I was like, there's like bees, like indentations of bees in these two shades, and I was like, that must have something to do with the show. I don't know. I don't watch the show. And then one of you was kind enough to point out to me that that is a Pat McGrath thing. Nothing to do with Bridgerton. Whatever. Okay, so I didn't know. So now I know. Okay, so I actually enjoyed this palette. A lot of people didn't like it, but this is like a unique palette. This isn't like a palette I think that you would get for like everyday use. This is a novelty. In my opinion, this is a novelty palette if there ever was one. You have like these 6 shades and these 2 colors. This one was patchy. This one was a little patchy, and I think that was something that I said in the video. I believe this palette cost something like $65, which is crazy. Pat McGrath is expensive. In my opinion, overpriced. But that's neither here nor there. This shade was patchy. If you're buying 6 shades for $65, they all need to work, and they all need to be really, really good. So that was my complaint with this. These two were really, really beautiful. They were like these satiny pinks. The only thing was they were very close, a little bit too close again for a $65 palette, but I thought they performed really well. Really, really, really nice. Then you had 2 standard shimmers. This is the star. This one right here, I guess this is Regency Blue. Well, that would make sense. This topper, it is absolutely stunning. It's stunning. It doesn't look like much swatched out, or maybe it does, but let me tell you, it is so beautiful to put over any of these shades, or you could reach into it and use it for any of your palettes. It changes the look. Like, it's just stunning. You can check out my video if you want to see what I mean. It just doesn't do it, like, nothing does it justice. It's just nothing, no swatch or anything I can say can really do it justice. Just how much this shade changes everything else. This I would call a special shade. Now, I don't know if this is considered a Pat McGrath special shade. I don't think it is. I think that means they're duochromes. But this should be a special shade, because this shade just changes the whole look, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. I would keep the whole thing for that shade. Like, I like this palette. I do. I didn't get the second one. The second one I know bombed. A lot of people hated it. I like this palette. I really, really like these 2 shades. I think the packaging is nice. It's kind of nice to set out. Like, display. I like to display makeup. I was happy with it. And then at number 25, this is something I tried recently. When did this one come out? This might not have come out this year. I don't know when the hell this came out. This might have come out. It might have come out this year. It might not have, but this is the Morphe in collaboration with Pony palette. I don't remember quite when I bought this, but I know I never used it. And then recently when I did my video of makeup I never used, I had my puppy, my dog. She's 1. Can I still call her a puppy? Anyway, she picked my makeup. I took a bunch of makeup I never tried, and she picked it when I wore it. And I knew she was going to pick this because the other 2 palettes were about a quarter of the size. So I knew this would be what she ran to. So I went ahead and I tried it, and I have to tell you, I was super impressed. This is what it looks like. It's big. It's probably too big. It's big even for a Morphe palette. Like, it's kind of ridiculously big, but the formula is really good. I love neutrals, and I liked every color that I used. I was really, really impressed with it, and I think I would have ranked it higher if I had more time to use it, but I only started using it last week. But I was really impressed. I really like this palette. I don't know, man. I'm not sure if I saw anybody say anything about this palette ever, but whatever. I liked it. I really enjoy it. I think this is, oh no, I have another Morphe palette somewhere. I decluttered most of my Morphe palettes, but yeah, I really like this one. So there you have it, number 25. So we're more than halfway there. I have 43 to rank. We are going into number 24, and from here on up, guys, they're all pretty good. Okay, guys, in at number 24, I have to tell you, I was so impressed with this palette. This is just a little drugstore palette. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Believe It eyeshadow palette. It is not a new one. I don't know when it came out, probably a year or more ago. It is so, so, so good. It really is. The formula is just really, really nice for the price point. I mean, like I said, hi, Maggie May. Maggie May just came in. I love neutrals, and I was watching a declutter. I was watching Leora doing a declutter, and she decluttered a few palettes, and she kept this one. And somebody had made a comment, I can't believe you got rid of, I don't remember even which palette she got rid of, and you kept the Physicians Formula. She was like, I kept the Physicians Formula because it was that good. And you know what? Leora knows makeup, and she's 100% right. This palette is such a great palette for travel or whatever. It's just so easy, and the formula is really, really nice. It's drugstore. It's drugstore. Really, really good. Very impressed. Good for you, Physicians Formula. Good for you. Okay, number 23. This is another ColourPop. I did not expect, this was a palette I did not think I was going to like. This is by ColourPop. I got it in the mystery box. This is one I never would have purchased for myself at number 23. This is the Witching Hour. It is the second palette in the Hocus Pocus series. The first one I decluttered last year. Third one I never purchased, although I've been seeing it on declutters and I kind of have regret that I didn't purchase it. And also, guys, I made a comment that I shouldn't have made because I made a comment that I didn't like the Muppet palette, and then I saw Angie's ranking. I watched it earlier today, and that palette actually looks really nice. It looks really nice. I don't know, I saw it really quick. I saw it like just like a picture of it, and I was like, no, it's whatever. But when she showed it and when she talked it up, I kind of changed my mind. But now that it's after the holidays, I don't think I want it because it was like decorated for Christmas. I know that's so stupid, but that's just how I am. So yeah, the Witching Hour. This was number 2 Hocus Pocus release, and I did not pick it up. And I remember when it first came out, I was like, oh, it looks like they just slapped like the Hocus Pocus characters on some random color story. But actually, no, that is not true. It's actually a beautiful fall palette, like the purples, the golds, the greens. It's just really, really, really cute. Formula is really nice. I was really surprised. I didn't use this on camera. I mean, I didn't use it. I didn't do any kind of video on it or anything. I just kind of used it on a whim. To be honest with you, I wasn't even going to use it. I got it in the mystery box. I was going to put it in a giveaway. And then I was like, you know what? Let me try it. And I'm so glad I did because I actually really, really like it. I was really impressed with it. So that is number 23. Then at number 22, we have a Pat McGrath palette. This little mini Pat McGrath palette. This is the mini eyeshadow palette Midnight Voyage. And I actually probably would have never tried this. One of you, my lovely subscribers, told me to go pick it up, that I would not be disappointed, that it was really, really lovely. And yeah, you were right. I think it's this shade that I really like. Yeah, I think it's this one. You know me and my neutral shimmers. Really, really nice. Reasonable price point for a Pat McGrath. I think this cost something like $30. But keep in mind, this is a mini palette. Like, mini palette. Okay? Pan sizes are very small. The palette is very, very small. Really cute little neutral purpley color story. Great for travel. Very, very good quality, but very small. But very good. So that was number 22. Number 21. I don't want to get in trouble for this. I know people are going to really disagree with me because everybody ranked this palette very, very high. But this is my ranking, guys. And to be honest with you, I was disappointed in this one. And this is a Tarte Maneater palette. People were saying this was the best palette that Tarte's ever done. When it came out, people were like, oh, this is going to be the #1 palette of the year. I was like, really? I have to get my hands on it. I think the color story is beautiful. I think the packaging is stunning. And that's kind of where the shimmers with these indentations is the reason I'm even ranking it at 21. Otherwise, it would have been much lower. I don't think it's that great. Color story is beautiful, but there's a lot of there's a lot of extras here. Like Maggie just came out. She goes under the bed and then comes out on the other side. Anyway, they're so and Maggie May. You know what she's scared of? The Hershey Kiss palette. I wish I had that on tape. Maggie, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you scared of that Hershey Kiss palette? No, it's the neutral one. Should be scared of the purple one. Should be really, really petrified of the Too Faced Better Than Chocolate palette. That was scary. Okay, so this is the Maneater palette. Like I said, a lot of people are going crazy over this palette. And the shimmers, like the indentation shimmers, they look like leopards, are beautiful. They are stunning. Really nice formula. But the rest of it, I didn't think was anything special. And like these 4 shades, 1, 2, 3, 4, very unnecessary. Very unnecessary. I would have made a palette with just the indentation shades. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and maybe like 8 mattes, and that's what I would have done with this, and I think it would have been phenomenal. There's just a lot of unnecessary real estate in this palette, and I didn't think it was as good as everybody said. It's out there now. Sorry. Okay, so that is number 21. At number 20, the first Dior palette I ever tried. And I have to say, all in all, I've been trying a few things by Dior, and it's been like an even split. There's some things that I think are very, very good, and there's some things that I'm like, what? This is luxury makeup? I don't know why. But anyway, this was the Dior Backstage Eye Palette. This is Cool Neutrals. I love this color story. Absolutely love this color story. This is like the kind of eyeshadow that I gravitate to. But I did not love the this palette is really for matte lovers, I think. And I'm not a matte lover. Like, this one is like a cream kind of base, which is cool. I like that. And these two pinks I really, really liked. I really liked this pink. I have a lot of palettes where like the pinks are just like not visible. But there's a shimmer in here, or two shimmers. I don't know. The shimmers are just not very shimmery. And I don't know if they're like really supposed to be. I think this is more of a matte lover's palette. It was just okay. For me, this palette was just okay. Like, I'm kind of glad that I have it. But would I run out and buy more Dior? No. I would not. Not impressed. Not that impressed. At number 19. Here was a palette I was surprisingly very impressed with. Very impressed with. Unfortunately, it gave me a terrible allergic reaction. But that is neither here nor there. This is the Pumpkin Spice Second Slice palette by Too Faced. Have the whole video on this one also. This is the highest ranking Too Faced palette on my list. I believe, yeah, this is the last Too Faced palette on my list. And yeah, I love the fall. I love this color story. I think it's beautiful. They released a pumpkin palette a few years ago. This was like that palette that they come out with before the holidays really kick off. It's like the first holiday palette. It like starts the makeup holiday season. They did the Gingerbread Men a couple of years ago. They did the Cinnabon last year. The year before that, they did the first pumpkin palette. This was the Second Slice pumpkin palette. It looked similar. The first one had like some purpley shades, and I decluttered it. I thought it was a lovely palette, but I was allergic to it. I'm allergic to this one too. I don't know what it is, but I love the fall. It smells like pumpkin. It's just so, so cute. And I thought the formula was quite good. It was quite good for Too Faced. Like, Too Faced formula is always hit or miss with me, and this one I thought was a hit. I really enjoyed this palette. My only complaint with this palette, it's not in the tin packaging. They always put these palettes in the tin packaging, and if they had freaking done that, I think this palette would have been, like, amazing, because people like to collect these palettes. They like to collect these tin palettes, and this is not a tin palette. It should have been, because they always make the holiday palettes, tin palettes, but whatever. I thought the quality was still very good, and if this kind of like fallish look appeals to you, then you probably really liked this one. Quality was quite good. I thought the quality was quite good. Okay, at number 18, this is the Los Angeles palette. This is by BH Cosmetics. This was another one I had tried in the same video, or I was wearing in the video. It's kind of like a pastel-y palette, again, when BH, because it's from a time when BH Cosmetics was making these amazing palettes. This one is beautiful. I love this color, the Hills. I know, I'm so boring, but I can't help it. And you just have like so many beautiful shimmers. You have so many beautiful mattes. This is such a great palette. Maggie is growling in the background. I'm sorry if you can hear her. I don't know what she's doing. She's under the bed. She's probably like fighting with something under there. Who knows? But anyway, guys, I love this palette. I really did. I thought it was so, so beautiful. The quality is so good. For the price point, it's just so, so good. And I believe it's still available if you like these kind of pastels. Highly recommend. Then, okay, so that was number 18, and then at number 17, this was my first experience with Odin's Eye. This is the Alva palette. Now, I know this is an oldie but a goodie. It's absolutely stunning, stunning, and I got this in a mystery box. in the Odin's Eye mystery box. So I got this year. It's a much older collection. Now, whenever you have mystery boxes, you always get older collections. You never get the new stuff, but that's to be expected. I thought this was a really, really beautiful palette. I had an allergic reaction to it. Again, neither here nor there. Had a terrible reaction to this palette. I don't know. And I tried it every which way. Like every time I tried it, I just had bad reaction to it. So there's something in it I just can't use, which is so unfortunate because I love it. I love it. I love these golds. I love these kind of neutral mauve lilac. Look at that shade lilac. It's so gorgeous. I curse my nickel allergy. I curse it. This is beautiful. Stunning. Really good. Really, 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 really good. Okay, so that was, okay, number 16. This is the Alice in Wonderland by Sigma. I liked this palette. I didn't love it. A lot of people were going crazy over this palette. It's been ranking super high. I am a big Sigma fan. You'll see another one ranked higher a little bit later on. I am a big Sigma fan. Sigma is one of my favorite brands. I've said that since the beginning of this channel. I don't know what it is. For some reason, I don't like their Disney collaborations. I'm just gonna say I'm the only one alive that didn't like Cinderella. Teresa is Dead didn't like it. So I am in good company. I love Teresa is Dead. If you can watch her and like not laugh your ass off, you have to lighten up. No, she's not for everyone. She swears like a lot, but I just think she's so funny. Okay, and she's like so down to earth and like I love her reviews. I'm a big Teresa is Dead fan, but not everybody's for everybody. But she hated the Cinderella palette, and so did I, and nobody wanted to love that freaking palette more than me. I put a tiara on my head for that review, and I just didn't like it. I almost didn't buy this one because it reminded me so much of the Cinderella. Maggie! It reminded me so much. Oh my goodness. How much joy. Can we just take a moment? Come here. Come here. Come here. Can we just take a moment? Everything's flying. To appreciate how much joy dogs bring to our lives. Seriously. I'm not even joking. I am not joking. Okay, Maggie is on my lap now. She doesn't like to stand up. She likes to sit right where she's sitting, which is fine with me. Guys, I know this is a little break and everything just went flying. Whatever. Oh, that's just my phone. Who cares? This puppy, this animal, this little doggy, she has just brought so much joy to my world. She really, really has. Now, I know not everybody is able to care for a dog, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you are able to care for one, I have to tell you, they are just therapeutic and such a joy to have. She has just brought me nothing but happiness. And the other day, I was thinking about things that have happened to me this year. This dog just kind of, I was never a dog person. There was this whole big thing, and somehow Maggie May ended up with us. She's probably going to growl a little bit because I'm going to, oh no, she's not. She's so cute. She's so cute. She's a Shih Tzu Bichon. She just kind of I just kind of got her this year. She just kind of fell into my lap. And just so much she's just brought so much joy. She's brought so much joy to me. She has brought so much joy to my family. She is just the best. She is the best. Dogs, they are the freaking best. I love her. I had to stop in the middle of this ranking to tell you guys that. And there she goes. She just jumps off my lap. Okay, good timing. So yeah, so nobody wanted to love the Alice in Wonderland palette more than me. I love Alice in Wonderland. That was the only reason I bought this. Because I didn't like the Cinderella palette, I wasn't going to buy this one because it just looks so much like it. And people's main complaint, or at least the complaint that I've been seeing, was the background. They thought that the background took away from the color story. I don't know. I didn't find that. I thought this one was actually better than the Cinderella one. They look exactly the same. The packaging is really the same. I thought the color story was even similar. I don't have my Cinderella one anymore, but it was, right? The Cinderella one had more purples in it, if my memory serves me right, but it was kind of similar. I just don't care for it. It was alright. It was better than the Cinderella one. I thought it was better than the Cinderella one, but it wasn't my favorite palette. But it was okay. Number 16 is not too shabby out of 43 palettes. It was good. Not the best. Did like it better than Cinderella. Let's move on. Alright guys, so it is the top 15, my top 15 palettes. And in at number 15, this is the Viseart Love Letter. Love Letter, yeah. Paris Love Letter. Look how cute. It's like a little letter. Like the packaging is a little letter. And this was actually another palette that was in my makeup I never tried video. Maggie did not pick this one for obvious reasons. The Morphe one was like 12 times bigger. But after that, I was like, you know what? I have to try it. And I did. And I was so impressed with the formula. And it's kind of interesting. This is the first Viseart palette I ever tried. It's the only Viseart palette I own. I heard this was not as good as their other palettes. Like Morgan Turner. Did I call her Morgan Taylor earlier? I'm sorry if I did. It's Morgan Turner. Yeah, it's Morgan Turner. She, what's it called? She has a lot of Viseart palettes. I watched her countdown, and I remember her saying that this one wasn't as good as the other one. So if that is true, I thought the quality on this was really beautiful. Then I definitely want to try other Viseart palettes. Loved it. And I love the color story. I pretty much loved everything about this palette. Number 14, this is going to be a weird one for some of you because this palette is super old. Super old. This is a Soft Glam by ABH. I'm not going to talk that much except that I never tried it before. This is the first year I have tried this palette, even though I've owned it for a while. I decluttered it. If you saw my declutter 1 year later video, you know that I decluttered this last year, had regret, and bought it back. I decluttered it on Mercari. I bought it back. I bought someone else's. I didn't buy my own. Yeah. Then I finally tried it, and oh my God, I love this palette. People declutter this palette all the time and say like the new stuff is better. I disagree because I tried this palette after I tried a lot of new stuff. And I have to tell you, I think the formula on this is superb. The color story is superb. If you are looking for a neutral palette and you're not into having a lot of palettes, you just want a couple of palettes that you can use all the time, this is the one I would tell you to get. This palette is beautiful, stunning, perfect formula. I love it. And I will not make that mistake again. And there it is at number 14. So good. Okay, number 13 is from Kaleidos. This is another brand I really enjoy. I don't have that much stuff, but I've always liked everything I got. So they released a bunch of quads this year. I do not have them all. This was around Halloween they released this because I remember doing a video on this around Halloween. This is Flowing Haze. Look at the packaging, first of all. How beautiful. I appreciate packaging. I love packaging. I love attention to detail, no matter the price point. And this is the quad. My only complaint with this, it's a personal one, and it's my own fault. This color story, it makes me look bruised. Anytime, I think it's my skin tone, or it could be the fact that I'm just not wearing it right. I don't know. Anytime I wear these kinds of colors, I always end up looking like I had like a black eye. But that's had nothing to do with the quality of this. I think the quality is stunning. It's a really, really, really nice quad. The shimmer is beautiful. And then you have these 3 mattes, and it's kind of like an interesting purple tone. It's not like a purple tone. It's more of like a gray purple tone. It's really nice. Really, really beautiful. So that is number 13. So now we're in number 12, almost at the top 10. So this is a palette I heard very, very little, if anything, about. I just went on the website one day and I decided to pick it up once again because of how much I love neutral palettes. This one is by Sydney Grace. I really like Sydney Grace. I have tried a couple of things from them, and everything I've tried I've liked. I don't have a lot from them, but this is Coffee Talk. This is Coffee Talk by Sydney Grace. Do you guys know this palette? I heard, like I said, very little about this palette, but this is what it looks like. It's beautiful. I love a cool tone, a neutral palette, and that's exactly what this is, and these shimmers are stunning. This is just such a beautiful everyday palette if you like neutrals. I believe it's still available. It's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. All the shades are like named after coffees, like macchiato, latte, espresso, cold brew, really, and it's just beautiful. Really easy to work with, beautiful formula, beautiful cool toned neutral palette. Not a whole lot to say, but it is what it is. And then at number 11, here comes ColourPop again. ColourPop is in the next 2 spots. So in at number 11, guys, I have the ColourPop Smoke and Roses. I know this palette was released last year. I believe it was released last year, but I only tried it in February. I put up against I did a battle of the palettes. I did a palette bowl. It was actually Super Bowl Sunday. I did a Rose Bowl. Thank you. That's creative, right? Yeah, I did a Rose Bowl. I put this up against Huda's Rose Quartz. Huda's Rose Quartz won the Rose Bowl. It did. But this did very, very, very well. And this is a fraction of the price of Huda's palette. Yeah, some of the ColourPop Mega palettes I'm sold on, some of them I'm not, but this one I thought was absolutely stunning. It's not as pink as it looks. It's kind of more corally, like when you actually wear it, at least I thought it was. Maybe not coral, like rosy, like not pink, but rosy. And corally, rosy corally, but I mean, absolutely beautiful. Really, really, really lovely. And, I liked it. It did give me an allergic reaction. Most pink palettes do. Most pink palettes do. They do. But I loved it. I love this palette. And with that, guys, we enter the top 10. Are you ready? How long has this video been? It must be a while because my battery's dying and it was full. So what can I tell you? Okay, let's do it. Number 10, also a ColourPop palette. Wait. Oh my goodness, guys. I didn't rank a palette. I messed up. I totally messed up. I didn't rank something because I'm looking at it. Shoot. So you see, this was my first time ranking my yearly palettes, and I dropped the ball because I had a palette. I left a palette off the list. So that means I had 44 palettes. I'm going to put it right here because this is basically, honestly, where I would have put it anyway. I would have put it right around here. So this will be number 11. Move everybody down a bun. Move everybody down a spot. That's all we have to do. Easy fix. Everybody goes down one spot. This one comes in at number 11. This is the Darth Vader palette by ColourPop. Yeah, I don't know how I forgot this one. And I don't know, man. It wasn't easy. I told you, I wrote this over and over. And I did write Star Wars palette on here, and I must have thought I meant this one. I don't know. But this is what it looks like. I love the ColourPop Star Wars palettes. I've said it over and over. I don't have them all. There's 2 I don't have. I don't have the C2, and I have the Child palette, but then there's another Mandalorian palette. I don't have that. But I think their Star Wars palettes are of such good quality. I mean, ColourPop is very good quality, but their Star Wars palettes are like a step above. I love this color story. I love grays, and I just love it. I think it's so beautiful. It has a super shock. This is, by the way, the Darth Vader palette. I don't think it's good as the Mandalorian Child palette, but I really, really, really enjoy it. So let's put this at number 11. And then at number 10, ColourPop makes another appearance, but you know what? Not the highest appearance on the countdown. We're going to see them one more time. ColourPop was really funny is ColourPop was found the way in the bottom, and ColourPop also sits on the top. But this is the Star Wars palette. This palette is modeled after the original, is it the 80s or the 70s? I think it was the 70s. It had to be the 70s. Look at Harrison Ford. This is after the original Star Wars movie. I thought this packaging was so cool. I thought the palette was even cooler. I loved it. It's like neutral, but it does have 2 matte glitters, and that's the one thing I hated. 2 matte glitters, and they look almost exactly the same, but let's put that aside. It was neutral, but it was also not neutral. You also had reds, you had this blue, and you had these 2 like tie-dye super shocks, which were amazing. Yeah. Stunning. This palette was so cool. It was so fun. It was just so fun to work with. It's so fun to use. I love using it, and it's just really, 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 really good. I love this palette. Let me say it one more time. 2022. This is the last time I will say it. The force was strong with this one. Number 9. Number 9. We have the Patrick Ta Major Dimension 2. I use this, no, this was not part of the Valentine's Day week. This was before that, I think. No, after that. This one came out in the spring. So this is what it looks like. It's really, really beautiful. When I did my review, I was like a little disappointed in it because this is the Major Dimension 2. I don't have the Major Dimensions one, but I had heard the most amazing things about the Major Dimension 1. So I had very, very high hopes for this one. And it was, I thought it was just okay. Very, very rosy tone. Wasn't as pink as I thought it was going to be. I had a couple of complaints here and there. It has 2 cream shadows here. And it has like a little door so they don't dry out, which is brilliant. And these cream shadows are perfect. They are such a good formula. And the more I use this palette, the more I like it. The more I appreciate how easy it is to use, the layout. You know I like an easy layout, not a creative soul. I like an easy layout. You have the mattes, you have the shimmer, but you can mix and match. You can hop all around this palette. You really can't go wrong. It's very, very, very easy to put looks together, very easy to work with, super expensive. So, you know, but yeah, the more I used it, the more I like it. It's a beautiful palette. It really is. So that was number 9. Number 8, the Earthy palette. Do you remember these? So what's kind of funny is that, like I said, I was watching Angelica Nikas today, and she ranked her Earthly palettes, her Beauty Bay palettes. She kind of ranked them all together, if my memory serves me right. I only saw it today. But I remember something that she said. She said, they came out with a few sizes, which is true. They had like 9 pans, 14 pan, which is what she had. And then she was like something crazy like 40 pan. Nobody needs that. Sorry. I'm sorry. I have failed, Angelica. I went out and I bought the big 40 pan green palette. She's right. Nobody does need it, but they're so fun. This palette was so, so, so beautiful. Any shade of green, it made me think it made me feel like I was walking through a forest when I used this. Any shade of green you can imagine, it's here. Golds, browns. They had like these 2 random kind of red shades, but whatever. I love this palette. I loved the formula. This was my first time using Beauty Bay. It is beautiful. It is easy to kind of get lost in here. There's a lot going on as far as the shades go, but it's fun. And I really enjoyed this one. This was the only one I picked up. This was the only color story I picked up. And you can also just go neutral. Like if you're looking for like a green palette, but maybe sometimes you want to do neutrals, you could also do neutrals. You could get a really nice neutral look out of this. I thought it was phenomenal. Very, very, very nice formula. They had like a pink one, a blue one, a purple one, if my memory serves me right. I only purchased this one. They also had like a more neutral one. I only purchased this one, but I was happy with it. I think the formula is really, really, really good. Okay. That was number 8. At number 7, I have another older palette. Also used this during Valentine's Day week, but it was my first experience. It's another ABH, Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the Primrose palette. Oh my god, it's beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. It's an older palette, so all I'm going to say is that it's so, so good. The formula on this is just unbelievable. It goes a little bit more pinkier than the Patrick Ta, and I actually kind of like it better than the Patrick Ta. Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence about Patrick Ta, what I'm going to do with it because of this one mainly. I love this palette and I just think it's perfect. I love it. Number 7. Number 6. Number 6, I have the Odin's Eye Merry Christmas palette. I did a video on this one. I absolutely loved it. I know they sold out of it and I know it's not being restocked. You know, I think it's very difficult for indie brands, especially when they're doing a limited edition, to really, like, I guess, factor how many palettes they're going to have to make. This one just took off. I mean, people absolutely loved these, and for good reason. Quality on this one was phenomenal. There were 2. I wanted the other. I didn't get the other one. I wish I would have, and I could have, because when I bought this one, it was still available. The other one was Christmas Eve, and it was a little bit more of like a purpley, like ice. Like it was supposed to look like snow. I think it was like was a cooler tone palette. This was a warmer tone. This was like a really traditional, like red, green, gold Christmas palette. And if I could do it over, I would have picked them both up, but I was happy I got this one. So it was stunning. It really, really was. And it's a shame that they didn't really have enough to go around. I mean, they always discontinue these Christmas palettes. These palettes are always limited edition. But let me just say something really, really quick, okay? I don't know if it's like the difference between mainstream and indie, but you look at people like companies like brands like Too Faced that do these limited edition holiday palettes every year and probably make more than enough to go around at a higher price point, and they don't even touch something like this. The quality on Too Faced holiday palettes doesn't even come close to something like this, between the packaging and the formula and just how beautiful it is. And it's crazy what some of these indie brands are doing in compared to some of these mainstream brands. I just wanted to point that out. Okay, so that was number 6. Number 5, I have another neutral one and Too Faced, and this is Too Faced's final appearance on the countdown. They will finish at the highest of number 5, and it's not a box of chocolates. Interestingly enough, this was Samantha March's favorite palette of 2022. She ranked this number 1. It's stunning, guys. It is absolutely stunning. It's beautiful neutral palette. I love when ColourPop does this cardboard packaging. I have a whole video on this. I was so excited about this palette. Love neutral palettes. There is something about this one that's just special, like when you open it, like the attention to detail. I don't know if it's coming across on camera. The attention to detail is stunning on this palette. The way they did like the indentations to make it kind of look like a box of chocolates. If they were trying to compete with Too Faced, they outdid them at a fraction of the price. This palette is everything that Too Faced was not. Their chocolate palette. This palette is just beautiful. You get a nice like collection. You get a nice array of neutrals, browns. It is a brown palette, but you get like this row is like really on like the lighter side. You have like inner corner shades. You have some deeper chocolate shades. Like you just have, it's just a beautiful, beautiful palette, and seeing it on camera doesn't do it justice. It's really nicer in person, and it's absolutely stunning. So that is number 5. Then at number 4, we have Sigma making their final appearance. This is the palette I am wearing today. This is the new mod. These are the palettes I love by Sigma. I don't really like when they do like their collabs or whatever. I always love their standard palettes. They always make these absolutely stunning neutral palettes. This one is on the pinker side. New mod was the color of theirs years ago. Like as far as I can remember, it was like a lipstick color, and it's like a pink, and now they made like a palette out of it. And palette is stunning. Like if you break it down, you have like the neutrals here, you have like the pink shades over here. It's just beautiful. Their Sigma shimmers, they're so good. They're just so good, and they're lovely. They make lovely palettes. These palettes come with a brush. The brushes that they come with are just like their regular Sigma brushes. If you've ever used Sigma brushes, you know they are so good. Sometimes when a palette gives you a brush, it's not the same quality of their regular brushes, but not with Sigma, man. Their brushes are so good. This palette was so lovely. Number 4. Number 3, again, guys, this is an older palette, but I have to rank it this high because this palette is so good. I tried it for the first time this year. I bought it this year. I tried it this year. I can't believe how amazing this palette is. Give Me Glow Pastel Dreams. So again, I don't know how interested people are in older palettes, but this is what it looks like. Oh, it is so pretty. It is so pretty. If you want a pastel palette, you can't go wrong with this one. I love everything about it. I love the layout is like you have a matte, you have a shimmer, you have a matte, you have a shimmer. Some people don't like that. They don't really like that kind of layout, but I love it because it's just so freaking easy for me. And I mean, you can do whatever you want with it, but yeah, there's a matte for every shimmer. Blue, pink, yellow, green, orange, purple. There you have it. And the shimmers, oh my God. That's give me glow, okay? That's what they do. Their shimmers are insane. Their mattes are really good too. Like, really good. That's really good. If you're into makeup, you know it's not easy to get these pastel mattes. They're usually quite patchy. This is just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pastel palette. Can't say enough about it. I don't think I will ever purchase another. I don't really wear pastels that much. I don't see myself needing another pastel palette. I have this and I have the BH Cosmetics. I mean, this is better quality. This is more money. But this is beautiful. Beautiful. Had to put it at number 3. Number 2. This was a very early review for me in the year. I think it was also in January. This is my first experience with this brand. This was the Blend Bunny Cosmetics Dollhouse. The Dollhouse palette. I just loved everything about this palette. If you watch my channel, you know I love dolls. I love dolls. And this is what it looks like. It's a neutral palette, but the way it's set up, it's just like, it's set up perfectly this way and it's set up perfectly this way. Like, you can just go right down. You don't have to think about it a lot. Sometimes when a palette is this big, I get lost because I'm not the best with makeup. But this one, it's like, okay, there's this row, there's this row, there's this row. Like, it's just set up so you can do whatever you want. You have these tapper shades, you have these shimmer shades, you have these really, really beautiful mattes in the middle. You have deep, you have light, you have everything here. And like the names, like Baby Doll, Vintage, Attic, there's a shade in here called Attic. I absolutely love this. I took the cutest picture of my dolls looking in the mirror of this palette. I was convinced I would be contacted by Blend Bunny to use it. Convinced. It was so cute. I wasn't, whatever. But beautiful, beautiful palette. I loved it. And it really does blend. Like, I read a little bit about the brand, how they really try to make their main thing is that their shades blend. And they do. They blend really, really easily. Very, very beautiful. And like I said, very easy to work with, which is important to me because I'm someone who like kind of prefers this kind of palette because it's easy. I don't have to think about it. I'm not great at blending makeup. These are just so easy to blend and make all kinds of beautiful looks. I love this palette. There's another neutral one. They make another neutral one. I saw it on Angie's countdown today. And I think I'm going to pick it up because I love this one so much. I think I'm going to pick that one up too. And here we are, guys. We have arrived at my number 1 palette. And for those of you that watch my channel, you know what it is because I did a video on it that was called Love at First Sight. I've heard that love at first sight could happen, but I didn't really believe in it. But now I do. Now I believe in love at first sight. You can just have a connection with something the first time you see it. It's that good. It's that good. This was also Morgan Turner's number 1 palette. She also put this at number 1. And yeah, guys, I'm putting it there too. I love everything about this cool toned, grungy, neutral color story. When I saw this palette, oh, by the way, it's the ABH Nouveau. And I don't know if I'm saying it right because I've heard a couple of different, and I don't mean a couple of different people. I mean a couple of top YouTubers, top influencers say it differently. I've heard Nouveau and I've heard Nuevo, but I'm pretty sure it's Nouveau. I'm pretty sure it's Nouveau. Anyway, this is the ABH Nouveau, I think, Nouveau palette. Whatever the hell it's called, it doesn't really matter. It is so beautiful. It is grungy. It is neutral. You have this pop of lilac. It's just so, so good. Let me tell you, whenever I pull this palette out, whenever I wear this palette, somebody says something to me, and I'm not kidding, okay? I'm really not kidding. I am probably the only person in my job that wears makeup, but I do. I have to wear PPE for my job, and a lot of times, basically, like, my eyes stick out. Like, from here, you see me, like, from here to here because of the kind of PPE that I have to wear sometimes at my job. And I am telling you, I guess you can just, like, you know, you can't help but looking at my makeup, and every time, and I wear different palettes to work, and nobody says anything. Every time I wear this one, somebody, at least one person says they like my makeup. Not kidding. True story. And it's always this palette. This palette is just so beautiful. Like, the shimmers on this palette, wings, okay? They are incredible. The color story is so, like, it's neutral, but it's unique neutral. It's like, I don't know. It's just stunning. It's just so good. I am in love with the palette. Obsessed. Whatever. It's a fatal attraction. That is my countdown, guys. That is my first yearly ranking of palettes. And I would love to know what you tried this year. I would love to know how many palettes you tried, or maybe not how many, but what your favorite one was. Tell me what your favorite one was, and sometimes even more fun, guys, what was your least favorite palette this year? And do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Do you think I'm totally off? Or whatever, guys. I love to talk about makeup. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't. Who cares? I love to hear other people's opinions and why. You know, it's just fun. Makeup's fun. And yeah, so let me know what you guys think, what you tried, what you liked, what you didn't like. And what did you think of palettes this year? It was quite a year for palettes, right? I thought it was a pretty good year. I thought we saw some pretty good stuff. I am always curious to hear what you guys think we'll see next year. I have already picked up my first palette that I'm going to try next year. It's a Juvia's Place. I did pick up the Candy Shop collection, so I'll be trying that probably sometime in early January. Guys, if you liked the video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel. We talk about it all in the attic. And if there's ever anything you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments. Follow me over at Instagram at Kimmie Teresa. I'm going to have a few more of these videos. We're going to do my best and worst. The best and some of the worst 2022 in beauty. And then I have a foundation ranking coming up this week. So I certainly hope you will join me for that. And I hope you enjoyed this. And until next time, guys, as always, please take good care of yourself so you can take care of someone else. I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.